This is our Forex blog for August 22nd, 2012, and like we do most days, the first step of our three-step easy Forex trading system, and we have a lot of different systems that we teach. Some of them are easy, some are more sophisticated. It might take you a few months to learn, or at least to be proficient at, so you spot the trades real time. The first step of the easy system is use this currency meter, which shows each currency's strength or weakness. On the top, the real-time strength, the 15, hourly, trend, daily, weekly, and monthly. Obviously, the more time frames that line up, the better. And the real-time one on the top is made up of multiple different tools that we average together. 3 of the 5 measure the direction. In this case, the euro's going versus the rest. And the other 2 measure the intensity. So it's just kind of like a football player. If he weighs 300 pounds, he's running 9-10 miles an hour at you, he's going to run you over if you're an average-sized person. If it's some kid that's running slower, he's not going to make as much of a dent on a grown person. Same thing with the currency markets. The more the euro pairs are going up and the more intensely they are, the more that trend's likely to continue. And if the real-time trend matches, the longer-term trends, 15, hourly, daily, that's enough for a trend to last for a couple hours usually. And if the weekly trend's up, even more so. I don't personally use the monthly trend much myself, but I do use it to decide, in some cases, how many lots to trade. And I will tend to trade more lots in case, like you can see today, the Australian is weak on all time frames. When it starts showing some weakness here at 4, that's a trade that's decent. You can see the CAD is weak on all time frames except for the monthly. And anytime you see a lot of weakness followed by very little strength, that previous momentum is likely to continue, especially if most of the longer term trends are down in this case. So you can also sort our currency meter to always be watching the strongest ones on top, weakest ones on the bottom, so you can, pick your currencies. So you can see in real time, the yen, pound, Swiss are the strongest ones, and the euro, CAD, Australian, New Zealand, and dollar are the least weak. Now, most of the time in class, we go over the main pairs, like the euro, dollar, pound, euro, yen, pound, yen. Today, it looks like the CAD's one of the weakest and the yen's the strongest. So we'll look at selling the CAD yen. Let's bring that chart up. And the first thing you look at is where the value, FX value levels are. These are what the average price is for yesterday, and it looks like it's right here in the middle. It's covered up by the weekly value area high. This is the last week's value area, which is where most of the activity happened. Most traders last week have positions at 80.39. That's the majority average position for last week. So you can see it broke that. It also broke yesterday's value area. It was underneath that starting the day off. So we're looking for sells. Now, a lot of traders, basically there's 2 ways that we look for trends. One is pullback trades, which you can use, a displaced moving average that I've shown many times in the past in the blogs, or just kind of a trend line off the bar's low. When it gets broken, you get in. And I'm also trying to make this easier. Some traders don't like to see the trend strength in histogram format like this. They'd like to have the charts as big as possible. So let me show you the CAD yen with the colored bars, which we're going to release soon, pending some of the other tools we're working on its completion. The CAD yen is actually a pair that I do not have running overnight, and this is one of those tools that only works live. You can see I've left this running for 2 days. It shows the statistical strength on there. So the dollar had mild strength today, and the CAD was extremely weak. So you could certainly also have bought the dollar CAD. Let me show a couple of our tools that will increase your odds here. First, the FX value areas. This is the price most traded yesterday down near the lows. This is the upper value area. So today started, especially at midnight, above the value area of yesterday and above the value area of last week. So it's got a bullish, tint to it. Also notice how these areas, once they act as resistance and they're broken, this is last week's upper value area. A breakout of this level typically leads to trends, and it frequently, if touched later in the day, acts as support. So this is a very high probability place to buy later in the day. All right, here's the dollar CAD. This is showing the 4-hour value area for the previous period. and it also shows the upper and lower value areas, which are where it basically spent 68% of its trading activity during the previous period, which in this case is a 4-hour bar. Starting the day off, it's just kind of hovering right towards the bottom of the value area. When it breaks out right here, this is a very high probability trade. You get a pullback. If the trend wasn't so strong, you'd be looking to sell here actually. And if you did sell here, you have to get out of the trade and flip and go long again. You can see it went from 9,900 all the way up to 99, pretty much 50. That's a 50 or 45 pip move. The value areas give you these kind of high probability trades. A pullback to the value area, and I prefer it when it kind of hits it, doesn't go underneath it, and then starts to go back up. But you saw in this case, it went underneath it, came back up. When it breaks above here, you're in this trade here, maybe around 23, and you're up 11 pips in that trade right here, and it appears to be still going. The value area is a very easy way of trading. Let's just look at some of the currencies today using the value area. We remember looking at the currency meter earlier today. The euro was relatively strong. The CAD was weak. And sometimes you start a new period where the upper value area is right up here above where the price is. Now, if that's the case, you can certainly look for sells, but the value areas are much more beneficial when price actually breaks through them. So if it opens up underneath the value area, comes down, comes up, can't get above it, you can sell right here. And guess what? That trend didn't go down. When it breaks through the value area right here, you have a nice move up by the pullback, by the pullback. This is a wonderful way of trading, and it finds a lot of high probability trades. I like the value areas mostly because it gives an amazing roadmap. You can see last night, underneath the value area, down, down, and in this case, it opened up above it, which, again, I like to see it penetrated first. And when it really couldn't go lower here and breaks above here, this is a decent place to go long. And when it comes down here and touches here, that's a decent place to go long too, but you have to be aware that you're going against the trend. New trends begin all the time, and this is oftentimes the type of pattern you see. It could just as easily exploded up and made a two-wave move up before resuming the downtrend. When it breaks underneath the value area here, you can see it went down, down, and then it's coming up to this area here. When it breaks out, it's a decent place to go long. When it breaks down right here, you go short. I would have probably sold this at 36. It went down, it immediately came back up. I would have had to put my stop above this area right here. So you basically have a 2-pip loss plus the spread, 4 or 5 pip loss. It's nothing. If you flipped and went long right here at 42, you can see it went up to 56. So you would have more than likely got your loss back just on one trade. And that's what's nice about these value areas. When my partner gets these working live, we're going to release it along with the new colored bars. And the FX Build a Trend tools are radically improved, and they use range-based statistical tools that measure intensity. And you will find that they identify new trends 1 to 3 bars sooner than our